I am back from vacation. I've been gone since the middle of December. Today is February 13th. I watched the last video to see what it was that I was doing to refresh myself, and my plan was to go ahead and continue with the forces I have here to finish the conquest of Norway. But I'm a little worried that, if you recall, the Soviet Union has already capitulated, so Germany has free reign, and England is making a push north here. They're coming out of Athens, but I believe this is not ultimately going to hold. I think that the Germans and their allies will be able to push England off, and I've looked around the map a little bit, just scrolling around, and I don't think England has a lot of forces to try it again with anytime soon. So I'm a little concerned that if they're thrown out of Greece, which I'm certain they will be eventually, and you can see they've already lost all of the Mideast and, well, the majority of the Mideast and Northern Africa. I want to move some troops over here to Gibraltar in an attempt to maybe force the Germans to think about other things than Norway and Greece. I'm going to declare war on Vichy, France, and invade Casablanca, ultimately moving through here and coming to Tunis. Tunis, I'm going to do my best to build up as a major military facility. Going to max out the airfields, the radars, the port if it's not already, and the anti-aircraft guns. Then I'm going to use Tunis to go ahead and retake the Suez Canal, North Africa, all of this. And of course I may take Sardinia and Sicily. Again, I have sent, at the end of the last video, I sent this transport fleet over here to pick up the 3rd Mechanized Corps, which is attached to the 2nd Army, which is the army based in Norway. Let's continue with the action now. What I'm going to do, again running on speed 3, is I'm just going to use the 2nd Mechanized Corps to go ahead and wrap up here in Norway. I believe that I've got the 1st, yeah, the entire 1st is coming back, and the 2nd should be coming back. The 2nd is the one that's going to wrap this up. And what I may do is leave one, probably Collins, which is the headquarters unit here in Trondheim, and embark the others and go ahead and capture Narvik, and any German units that are fleeing I may be able to capture before they can get back into Sweden. But at any rate, this unit transport fleet is ready. So I'm going to bring the 3rd Mechanized Corps over to, I'm going to rebase, bring them to Gibraltar. Now back over in Hawaii, nothing is going on at the moment, if you recall. Basically, for all intents and purposes, New Zealand has fell, Australia has fell. Practically all of Britain's holdings, with the exception, as you can see, Kuala Belait, and I have no idea if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but you get the idea. And India is falling also. It would not surprise me. You see, Japan's already got Diego Garcia. It would not surprise me if here eventually Japan is able to bounce over into the Gulf area and perhaps even into Africa. Now we've got integrated support, which is good. I'll leave that in Tactical Air Command. What does that bring Tactical Air Command up to? 44. Alright, that's good for now. I'm going to drop these also. Integrated support. It's 44. That's good enough for now. I'm going to try to get as much stuff up as I can. See, I've still got small arms at 42. It's working on it. I want night fighting equipment for sure. Getting my armor up. Everything in there that I want to research has been researched. I want the ASW and the small warship radar, and that leaves me one more to use. Now, I'm remembering that I've got, I'm going to go with this radar here, and then we'll come back and revisit that later. But I've also got some units that just came up, which is garrison. Now, I don't remember what I was going to do with the garrison units, but I'm going to, looks like I've got some. Before I plop these down, let me see what I've got here. Okay, I've got 4 garrison units here. And 6 here. All right, well, I'm going to plop these garrison units down. I'm just going to continue putting them right here in New York for now. I'll deal with them later. I want to go ahead and give him a commander in case I wind up having to use him. I want the commander to already be, I'm going to make a level 1 commander, but you know, when you give a new commander, their organization falls, and while it's at 0 is a good time to go ahead and do that because it's not going to hurt anything when it just went out. All right, now back up here. I'll just continue moving along with these 2 units. And remember, if you press shift, you can then direct your units where to go by right-clicking your mouse. So I'm holding shift and telling this unit to go all the way to here. Now I'm going to do the same thing with the other unit, catching any provinces that I may not have got. All right, so both of those will continue marching on without me messing with them anymore. Again, that's by holding shift and right-clicking where I want the unit to go. Now what I'm going to want to do, since I don't have the, I'm a little worried about the Germans. You can see I think they're probably about to crush Denmark's uprising here. But I do certainly want to have some. No, I don't think I need it. I'm going to take the aircraft carrier down there, but that's not the one I want to take. This is the one I want to take. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause the game here just for a moment. Make sure this is what I want to do. Okay, unpause. I'm going to declare war on Vichy, and I'm going to choose conquer, just because I'd rather keep that territory. All right, I want you to embark and come down here and get Casablanca. Now you'll see that they really haven't got any. Really, it doesn't have any supplies or fuel, but that's fine because generally speaking, at this point, there's not going to be any opposition in Casablanca. Hopefully, we'll see. Just take everybody off. While they're doing that, I'll look at this production queue. Alright, that all looks good. It's only a little bit of wastage. I can live with that for now. Artillery, barrel, and ammunition. That brings that up to 44. 44 is good for now. I want to bring as much stuff up to 44 as I can. And I'm way behind. Definitely want to keep my fighters up. Let's do the single engine. And air-launched torpedo, because we're really going to need that when we start attacking the Japanese. And I'm also starting to worry about my officer ratio. So I'm going to go ahead and just give everything to the officers, because I want to get that up as quickly as possible. All right, now from here, we're just going to come down, and I'm only interested in the ports, really. I'm going to leave the headquarters division here, and everyone else is going to march to here. We'll send 2 at a time for now. Now I need this fella. I want him to come back here. Rebase at Scapa Flow. I'm a little concerned about the Germans being able to force a landing. I'm going to run my aircraft carrier fleet just along the coast here to see if there are any ships in any of these ports. Don't want the Germans to be able to mass ships. Now, if I recall, I'm thinking I'm recalling correctly. The last time I did this, I left them down here, and I did get attacked by aircraft. I hope that's not the case this time. Okay, so far so good. I don't see any Germans in the ports. Certainly units on the airfield battling with the British. But it looks like, and here's the British moving units. Not sure where they're going, but again, I don't see any. Aha, look at there. That's back up there. Glad I left that battleship fleet there. Okay, industrial capacity in Miami. That's good, we'll let it go. Germans are trying to sneak transports into Narvik. Alright, well, I'll bring this back. Now that this guy's in Scapa Flow and he's got some supplies running again, bring him down here. Rebase him to Trondheim. I'm going to take the 77th and the Americal Division. I'm going to embark them, and then I'm going to land in Narvik. We got something going on there. Trying to run again. Normally I would chase him. I want to keep that port blockaded. Look at that. That was close. The transport just barely snuck by this fleet, whatever that is. Come on, look at that. That might be aircraft. I don't really know. No, that's got to be a sub, maybe. Alright, well, at any rate, I wasn't able to attack him. Go ahead and these bad boys up there. Again, I'm right-clicking in the C province I want next to where I want to invade instead of selecting invade. And the reason I do this, several reasons, but the one I'm going to tell you about right now. Let me fix this since I've got my manpower back up. I'm not sure if there's going to be any resistance here, so I want to just order one. Okay, there's no resistance. Alright, so I can go ahead and order both of them. And the reason I was doing one at a time, if one of them received resistance, then I would have landed the other one in an adjacent province, and I would have attacked from two sides. Had I did this with sending two of them, automatically they both would have been locked in combat, and then when I canceled, I would have had a delay timer, which I did not want. So I'm going to leave him there and have Roosevelt clean house. Remember, I'm holding the shift and pressing the right mouse button, and then I want him to come all the way back to here. So he'll do all that without any further instruction from me, just as these two units are doing their thing without any further instruction from me. Alright then, going back to here, I think it's safe to say that I can now move. Alright, I'm going to have to make a manual convoy. I forgot I had that on manual. We're going to go from Washington, D.C. to Casablanca. Only needs 4. And I'm going to give him 4 escorts also, just in case. We've got the escorts, why not? It doesn't cost us anything, and they're just sitting around idle. Now again, I'm still not running any supplies. Ideally, I would make Casablanca a huge port also. But what I'm going to do for now is Gibraltar. Send this transport fleet back to Scapa Flow. And these guys are just more or less going to work on their own with the orders that I give them. Alright, I like having those drop tanks. Gives me that range on the fighters. One extra. It's going to be, I'm going to go back to the bombing portion because we're really going to need to sink some ships here when we get into Japan. And again, by design, I'm sort of using the same doctrine as Europe first or Germany first. I'm not going to say I'm letting the Japanese run at free will because I am definitely trying to, I am going to hold Hawaii no matter what. And I think I'll start doing some patrols. And I tend to patrol on aggressive with both the carrier unit, the carrier fleet, and the battleship fleet in the same location. That way, if either one of them gets in trouble, the other one is close enough to move over and help. Industrial capacity, we like that in Atlantic City. That's good. You can see our industrial capacity is now, with the laws we have, 565. Now I'm going to want to run a supply convoy to Narvik also. Create supply convoy from Washington to Narvik. And again, smaller port only takes 3. And I want to give them 3 convoys. So, protection. Upgrades, yep. Now let's see what we got going on in the Pacific. Looks like nothing is really happening as far as naval units at the moment. I may try to retake Midway Island. Well, we're sinking some of their convoys, and that's always a good thing. I like that. And we're doing the sinking. Alright, I don't need this convoy for now, so again, we're going to rebase him to Gibraltar. This transportation convoy fleet. And we're going to let... I'm a little leery. Okay, here we go. Look at our carrier-on-carrier action. Like the Japanese. And they were probably... That little fleet was probably raiding supply routes. So let's see what happens. Halsey, 82. Nagano at 98. And see, notice that I didn't do anything. It's all automatic. The battleship fleet just entered the battle. Still overall under Halsey's command. Now we can see that the Japanese are fleeing. And by selecting, you see the little blue arrow, which tells you there is a fleet moving in that direction. But I don't know if it's my fleet or the Japanese fleet. So I press the number associated with my carrier fleet, and you see it's not moving. It's right there shadowing the Japanese. So it's not the one that's moving. Then I press 2, which is my battleship fleet. My battleship fleet is moving down here. So that does tell me the Japanese fleet is moving in this direction because it's neither one of my fleets. So what I'm going to do is move my carrier fleet manually and my battleship fleet in the same direction. So Johnson Atoll. Let's see if we can catch this Japanese fleet again. Yes, we did. Alright, disengage. Now you notice the Japanese commander has a much higher percentage I don't think that's really going to matter because there's 12 ships on one, and his carrier is really beat up, and he has very little organization left in any of his ships. We won. Okay. And it looks like they're just going to go into port. Now, I'm going to take this opportunity. To port strike. And I think that's 44. That'll be good. Move on to the bombers. Now, see, this is why I wanted to get in the bombers up. The light bombing and the air launch torpedo, because that's going to play a huge role. Now we'll go with medium bombers. And let's port strike. What are we doing here on Johnson Island? All right, so their whole fleet's here, and that carrier looks like it's about ready to go. Now they will probably try to sortie. Okay, there's 5 units there. That carrier is badly damaged. Oh, carrier just sunk. Good. And that just leaves the destroyers. 4 units left in there, and they're taking damage. I'm monitoring the organization and strength of my fighter units, my CAGs, while I'm doing this. I'm hovering the mouse over the port, which allows me in the bottom right to see how much damage my CAGs are doing to the ships in port. Plus, I've pressed 1, so I've got my window open for the actual carrier fleet, and I can see the status of the CAGs. So we've sunk the carrier, we've sunk another destroyer, and there's 3 left. I'm just going to let them run down, and I'll go back to Honolulu and regain all my strength and organization. So first blood. Okay, 0. All right, now I'm going to pause the attacks. I'm going to put them back in regular CAG loop and send both units back to Honolulu, both fleets, so that I can regain strength and organization. Okay, now back down here. Let's go to... I'm going to bring this transport fleet to Casablanca. Well, before I do that, I'm going to bring it down to Taminar. Pick up this lone unit. There's nothing down here. No resources. Well, I guess I'm lying. There's some type of resources right here, so I'm going to go ahead and take them. There's a German unit right there. I got to be very careful here. Although I suspect, I'm pretty sure that is a submarine unit. Again, highlight the unit, press shift, right click where I want it to go, and then right click where I want it to come back to, or where else I want it to go. So I want it to go and capture this province, and then automatically move back to the province with the port. That way I don't have to micromanage it anymore. And we're going to go to the bombers. Again, I want to work on nothing but the bombers for now until I get them back up. I'm going to run out of supplies here if I'm not careful. But I think I'm going to take the units that I have here. Boy, that's pushy. I'm going to go straight for Oran. I'm going to send the carrier fleet and the battleship fleet along at the same time to clear the route. They're just ahead of the transportation fleet. I'm going to let's put the 79th into Oran. I don't think it's going to be defended, and it's not. I'll look at my upgrades. And as soon as the 77th lands, take the fleet north, I'm sorry, east, and going to land them at Algiers. And I'm going to land both, well, first the 80th to see if it's any opposition, and there is none. So let's go ahead and send in the Headquarters Corps also. If there's no opposition, the Headquarters Corps will land in an amphibious assault. Okay. And I want to come down here and blockade that. Go ahead and turn them, my color, capture them for our side. Move everybody back to Gibraltar. Now, this fleet strength is almost all the way back up. Strength at 86.6 on the CAGs. Organization is up on almost everything, and battleships are fine. Checking back up here. Looking good. Now you can see here that that's fine. New Orleans, it's great. You can see here that these units have came up here where I told them to stop, but I'm going to go ahead and order this one on. All the way to Narvik. Did I skip? Just okay. So we want this guy to come up here and on the Narvik. Okay, so that would combine everybody there. I'll go ahead and let Patton catch the rest of these and come back here. Alright, so now I need a supply convoy to Casablanca. Did I do that already? I hope I did. Let's see. Yes, I did. Alright. Supply convoy to Oran and Algiers. From Washington, D.C. to Oran. And from Washington, D.C. to Algiers. Very small ports here. Alright. Looking good, looking good. Now remember, my goal is Tunis. Tunis is going to be my main launching off point for North Africa and Italy. I don't think there's any opposition. I'm not sure. I'm guessing that all the Vichy forces that were here moved over to help with the conquest of the Mideast. But I think we can pretty much count on Gibraltar staying open now that we've got a foothold in North Africa. So even though the Brits lost the Suez, they're not going to lose Gibraltar. Okay. And it looks like we're coming to the close of this video. These units are almost fully organized back up. And I think that was the one sortie in the Pacific for this particular video. And again, you can see that Italy has landed in Kalamata in the back behind the Brits. And you remember earlier the Brits were pushing out of Athens. You can see now that there's a good stack here stopping them. They were not able to advance as it looked like they were going to be able to. Alright, everything's shaping up fine as far as I'm concerned, and I have intentionally left this port open because I'm hoping the Germans will land more of their forces there. That will allow me to cut them off, and I'm pretty sure that they're going to go ahead and take out this Denmark uprising. Everything's progressing fine as far as I'm concerned. What I'm going to want to do is bring some aircraft over, particularly when I get to Tunis. Once I've captured Tunis, I definitely want to put some... if nothing else, I want to put some interceptors there, which means I need to consider building more. Alright, see you in the next video.